Disobedience is a very dangerous thing. I was in college at the time. There was a church that we were going to. And at this church, there was this young lady who had just come in from, I don't want to say the exact country, but it was in West Africa. And she had joined the church, and we became friends. We became really good friends. Though I was moving, I had finished, was done with college, from that area to a different city. And the moment she found that I was moving, it seemed like all hell broke loose in her place. So she was living with our youth leader at the time. I didn't know that these stories were lies then. She told me all these things that were happening, and she's like, she's not going to have a place to stay. She's going to be homeless. And I'm like, oh my goodness, nobody should be homeless. That if there's someone within our vicinity, they should not be homeless. So I was moving with my brother, and I told my brother, I was like, hey, she might not have a place to stay. Can she come live with us? I was like, whatever she needs, I'll take care of it. I'm not going to burden you. She's going to be going through a lot, so let her just stay with us while she figures things out. My brother was like, okay. The day that we were going to go pick her up, the Lord gives me a vision. I was washing my hands under the sink, and the Lord says to me, wash your hands off this. And I wish I listened. And I said, Lord, how? You should know. How could we leave a person who is in need? I said, no, Lord, I am going. Okay? We are getting to the place. We get to the house. I see the vision again, and I didn't pay attention. I was like, in my personal space, I called the Lord Dad. I said, Dad, come on now. Would you do this? Really? I said, you're the one who said I was in prison and you visited me. I was, naked. I said, look at somebody who's naked. And I disobeyed. We picked her up. There were always some things that were off to me sometimes about this young lady. But I was like, you know what? Everybody's struggling to be normal in life. So we're just going to let her be weird, It's all right, God bless her. There was a pattern with her. No matter when she left, she always found her way back. Something crazy would always happen. It would be the craziest thing. She was frying plantain and fell asleep. And it caught on fire, and the apartment burnt down. And she needs a place to stay again. I'm like, girl, this is a revolving door. No matter where I moved to, she somehow would end up moving, finding her place with me. Then one particular day, for the mercy of God, I woke up, was minding my business. The Lord says to me, pack a bag, get an Airbnb for 30 days, and I will meet you there. And he says, pack a bag, don't tell anybody where you're going. And then all of a sudden, one of my close friends had called me, and she says, I received an instruction from the Lord. I think we need to go to an Airbnb for 30 days. And then she says, and then that morning, she's like, someone just sold a seed to my account. She was like, I think we're supposed to use this for the Airbnb. I said, well, God must know, because I ain't got it. We found the place. I remember walking into that Airbnb, and the presence of God was so potent. And so we're like, you know what? Let's just start praying. So we start praying. A few days into the prayer, I have an encounter with an angel who says 30 days of fasting and praying. And we're trying to figure out what is taking place. So we're praying in the spirit most of the time, because we have no clue why the Lord gave us this instruction. In the course of that 30 days, that young lady exposed herself as a witch. And the Lord showed me that as a result of your disobedience, I blinded your eyes. But in my mercy, I would allow you to see this for what it really is. When she exposed herself to be a witch, she revealed to me, she said, our assignment has been to kill you. But for some reason, we couldn't get to you. And she was so confused about it. And in the process of all this taking place, I said, girl, you got to go. After the whole process, and this was so interesting because the Lord had shown me many things concerning this young lady. Talked to me about how the demonic operates, where the enemy will cause her to be, that when they fail in their assignment, sometimes they may lose their mind. And she ended up literally going crazy. But here's the reason I'm sharing this. Right after that happened, I have a dream, and I see that young lady. It was a friend of mine at the time, who the Lord was already showing me things concerning that individual. And I see that young lady, she takes off her jacket. As she's walking out of the house, she throws it, and that gentleman picks it up. And the Lord said, it's falling on him. Cut this person away from your life. But he says to me, do not cut them out of hate. Understand that there is a spirit at work through them. You can love the person, but don't have a close relationship with them. Because if you bring them into your intimate circle, they would betray you. That the enemy has found another person to carry out this mandate and to see if they would succeed. Remove this person from your life. That is someone I still love as a friend. But I had to recognize the need for separation, because you are functioning under a different spirit that I cannot bring close. Your enemy is not the person. Your enemy is the spirit at work through them.